Built in 1947, tonight's host facility is a hot spot in the world of wingless sprint cars and especially in midget racing. One of Indiana's finest tracks. There's a ton of character in every square foot of the dirt here. It's so unique that it was even referred to in a song by the Beach Boys. That was what they were talking about in that song after all, wasn't it? Either way, the melody of big block motors comes to you live from the virtual Kokomo Speedway in Kokomo, Indiana, here on BRPtv with Jonathan Howe and myself, Joe Donahue, as the vocalists for the program tonight. We've seen a ton of different types of racetracks so far this season, Jonathan. Tonight is something completely different. What does it take to wheel a modified at this place as small as it is?
Well, it definitely takes a lot of precision, Joe. You got to be careful. You got to be mindful of those around you, but you also got to find a line that works for you in a way that's going to be fast and efficient around this kind of uniquely shaped racetrack. You know, this is not a typical bull ring. There's kind of like almost like a dog leg. I'm tempted to call it a dog leg part of the turn, but I don't know if that's really quite the right way to describe Kokomo. But it's a unique place, a unique spot for sure, and it's going to take, like I say, a lot of precision, I think, to get around this place quick.
Yeah, dog leg's a good word to use, I would say. The backstretch here is not straight. I mean, it especially drives like a D shape more than some of the other racetracks we go to, although, you know, we go to Weedsport, we go to Volusia, some racetracks that are not exactly straight on the back chute. 12 drivers signed up tonight for the BRP Smackdown. Smackdown at Kokomo is one of the biggest events that they have on their calendar. They call it the Smackdown at the end of the season. Tonight we're going to be starting off the new year of racing with the Smackdown here on BRPtv. At least the new racing season for me, Jonathan. I got to go to Lincoln. We started our 410 sprint car programs around here, and I'm sure you guys are probably pretty excited, and I would be jealous if I were you that the racing has started at least somewhere in the area, even though Florida started a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm a little bit jealous. I mean, we were breaking down all things Florida on the Southern Ontario Dirt Show podcast this past week, and it's got me jonesing for some racing, so I'm a little jealous that you got back to a track. I know that it's going to be here sooner rather than later, and I can't wait for it. So really just can't wait to experience some modifieds in person and get back to Merrittville on Saturday nights, get back to Ransomville for some Friday night action, and lots of fun things happening at Ohsweken as well. So we've got lots to talk about and lots of fun things happening in our area. And with the weather we had today, I think it was like a high of 11 or 12 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is Fahrenheit for you guys, but it was warm enough that I was kind of thinking, man, if it keeps up like this, we're going to be ready for April for sure.
Yes, it was roughly in the 60s today in my neck of the woods, so I'm jumping and jiving, and we're all about that. But before we get back to our local dirt tracks in person, we get to round out this season. This season has been very much the Cody Higbee show, and it's looking that way in practice right now, Jonathan, but we know just as well as anybody who stays with this series week in and week out, you know, Cody Higbee can be very fast, but there are a couple Rosellis and a couple big dogs out there who definitely can have something to say about it by the end of tonight.
Certainly there is going to be, I think, a conversation to be had about this race anyways. Cody Higbee is currently fastest on the speed charts, but you know, his biggest rivals, I would say, in the last couple of weeks, you know, all pretty much right there. Dominic Roselli is there in second quick right now. Ryan Beagle, Anthony Roselli. Jamie Porter's had speed when he's been able to make it out. Gavin Isley's been turning some good laps, and he's, you know, a strong contender as well. So I don't know, Joe. I kind of think that the cream is definitely going to rise to the top here at Kokomo, but I don't really expect to see a fully dominant performance from any one of these guys.
Oh, I certainly wouldn't think so, especially not at a racetrack like this. It will bode into Cody Higbee, I think, a little bit, but he's definitely not going to have a very controlling show of things if what I expect to happen will happen tonight, which you never know. I mean, we say all sorts of things here on the broadcast that don't necessarily end up coming true. But one of the things that we do say very confidently is that the drivers get to go into this qualifying session and put down 2 laps. We've got 3 minutes to do it. 12 of them out there. Is there anybody you want to catch a drift of, Jonathan, as they make their way out onto the racetrack?
I mean, I feel like the Rosellis are going to be the ones to watch in this qualifying. I think Cody Higbee we know is fast, but you're a Roselli and you want to keep up your winning ways, or at least keep up your front pace ways, I think track position is going to be extremely important. Gavin Isley jumps to the top of the charts. That was, I don't want to say surprising, but that's a great lap from Isley there to go to the top of the board. Beagle up there as well. And there's Anthony Roselli jumping up to second quick. So Dominic Roselli now jumps over Anthony, and now he's up to second quick. So it's going fast around here, Joe.
It always does, and especially at a quarter mile like this, the qualifying is going to take a very short period of time. Corby Daniels here putting in a lap and getting a little out of shape as he cools him off. He ends up 9th quick of the field. Everybody's put in their lap times. Matt DeRitter's still doing some practice out there, and Pat Reiser going to be the last one to put up a time. Doing the thing I said, you wait until the end of the session to jump out on track and do the hot laps. You're basically guaranteed yourself a little bit of TV time, Jonathan.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that beautiful Murder Graphics designed car, of course, Pat Reiser's going to want to make sure that he gets a little TV time for his sponsors with MDR Designs and Murder Graphics.
Definitely going to be doing so. He's 11th quick. See if he can get any better here on lap number 2 and past the stripe. It's not better, so he's going to stay 11th. Well, the field is set. 12 drivers qualified. There's still a minute left in the session. I think we're going to let some of the guys use it to their advantage. I think Pat's going to stay out for a second. Ryan Beagle just running around in circles here on the bottom, trying to practice hitting the bottom, which I think is going to be a little bit more important than some of the drivers in the field might expect. This racetrack is super, and when I say super, I mean it, bumpy down low. It is a very difficult bottom line to run, and the middle's smooth. The outside is a very solid line to pick around Kokomo, but the bottom definitely can play into the cards tonight, and if Beagle can get it down now, might have an advantage at the end.
When I jump on the console game, Joe, I always try to make that outside work, and I can never figure it out. I don't know if it's just because of the unique shape of Kokomo or what exactly it is, but I just have not been able to really make sense of this place in my experiences in the iRacing kind of world, and I that's why I think it's going to be about precision. You mentioned avoiding those bumps. That's going to be very important. And, these guys are going to get their first taste in heat racing action here in a moment.
Yes, they are. We're not quite sure if we're going to get 2 heat races or 1. It is going to be 2. Oh, sensational. So we're going to have 2 heat races of 6 drivers, and they will start the grid for the 75-lap feature tonight. What's going to be cool about this one is we're going to line them up just row by row. So the winner of this race will be the pole sitter, and they will all line up single file behind that driver on the inside line for the start of the race. And then for the heat race number 2, it'll be the outside line. So just to run quickly through the starting lineup for the first heat race of the night, Gavin Isley going to be going from pole in the number 18 machine. To his outside is going to be Anthony Roselli in the 7. Jamie Porter going to start from 3rd in the 45, and to his outside will be Ryan Beagle, 2nd place in points right now. 5th place on the starting grid goes to the beef. Back on the block is Corby Daniels, and rounding out the grid for the first heat race of the night, going to be the Murder Graphics number 33 of Pat Reiser. Those guys are going to be looking to try to get back up towards the front. 2 of those like silverish, light-colored cars from the tail, and from the front, two pretty vibrant cars. Gavin Isley with that bright orange, and Dominic Roselli rocking some hot pink. Going to bring us back 1 lap to green, Jonathan, and then we will get the racing program underway tonight.
Pretty good lineup here. I would say the front of this field, we may actually have a feature winner from tonight. I think that's a safe bet. But amongst those front 4, I don't know. Gavin Isley had that quick time, and I didn't expect him to have that quick time. So as the green flag flies here, I'm going to be watching to see how he holds on to this lead and this track position. And it's a quick one right into corner number 1. They got to quickly jump on it and quickly jump around the corner into 3 and 4. You can see a battle for second between Porter and Roselli, but you can notice the guy's not really getting the rear ends to rotate, as they got to let the speed almost build up a little bit around this place.
They really do, and everybody's diving straight to the bottom of the track, which is actually kind of surprising to see. Look at Beef go. Look at Beef get up into 3rd place right here. Anthony Roselli just got hung out, and he's going to go to the way top side. Something's wrong with Ryan Beagle here, and he's going to drop back too. Man, that is not going to help his championship effort and his point situation. But look at the front. Gavin Isley, he's the catfish tonight. He is hitting those lines and making those marks and making everything work.
The one thing I'm noticing about the way Isley's driving is he's still very smooth, but he's getting the rear end to rotate through the corner. A little bit of a struggle there, it seemed like, getting out of 1 and 2, but into 3 and 4, we'll see and watch the exit here. Much better. I think exit is going to be very key for making passes, completing passes, and holding on to your spot on this racetrack.
Definitely agree with that. I'm curious to see what's going to happen over the course of the event when the bottom starts working in a little bit. 2 laps to go at the stripe, and they're going to come back around here. Gavin Isley is going to see the white flag in front of Jamie Porter, Corby Daniels, and Anthony Roselli. That's the top 4 as the white's out. One more time around, and this one pretty easily, I think, is going to go to Gavin Isley. He gets a little bit aggressive there, but he comes back, and heat race number 1 will go to the number 18 car. Jamie Porter going to come across the line in second, third place for the Beefer, and Anthony Roselli, I wouldn't call it a rebound, the whole way at least, but he gets 4th place.
Yeah, hangs on to some of those points for finishing inside the top 4 in the heat, Joe. Pretty important for Roselli, who's up there in points and trying to advance forward, right? So,
absolutely agree with that one. Now let's go check out what's going to happen with the second heat race of the night. From the pole, the Iceless 97. We're used to saying that, used to being from the pole. Cody Higbee. To his outside, going to be Dominic Roselli in the Van Sickle Electric number 80. Starting off the inside of row number 2, going to be Tyler Pachalski in the 21P. And to his outside, back with us tonight in the 60 machine, is Brian Berger. Matt DeRitter going to go from 5th place in the Murder Graphics 03 car. And to his outside, out of Pennsylvania, driving the 49 car, a guy who always brings the crowd to the broadcasts here on BRPtv, that's Dean Meitzler. So 6 more cars, 8 more laps. Going to line up the outside lines of the rows for the 75-lap BRP Smackdown coming to you in just a few. There's going to be a warm-up in between there, 5-minute warm-up, and then we'll get to it. So Cody Higbee's going to lead us back. Jonathan, you called your shot on the last one. I'm going to call my shot on this one. This front row. I'm going to call this front row for the winner of the feature tonight.
Ooh, it's not a horrible pick. There's some good cars throughout this one as well, but especially that front row. Dominic Roselli and Cody Higbee see the green first, and Roselli from the outside trying to get the power down, staying even with Higbee, and actually pulled alongside. In through 3 and 4, can't quite keep it even that time. Look at Matt DeRitter making it 3 wide on the low side as he tries to come forward in the field.
And he is actually doing so. Here he comes from 5th place on the grid. And, man, he is actually, you know what?
He broke.
Yeah, he got it wrong.
I think he broke the front.
I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, he's gonna. If he didn't already, he's going to, Jonathan. He keeps hitting those tires, and I think the last time he came through turn 4 really showed you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
Well, he's hanging on to 3rd place for now, but yeah, it looked like he clipped a tire, and I could have sworn that that left front broke. But I mean, the good thing is if you can keep the car rotating and pulling off the ground, you don't really have that left front down there to mess anything up. So
yeah, we're looking pretty solid here. Nobody's running their front lefts on the ground hardly. Dominic Roselli is still trying to make something work here with Cody Higbee as we very quickly got through this heat race. Coming back to 2 laps to go for the 97 car, and as long as he pins it to the bottom, Jonathan, I don't think Dominic's going to have anything he can do.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about Kokomo, right, is that we mentioned the outside is a viable line, but it just adds so much more distance around the racetrack that I'm not sure you can really make as much of an advance forward as you can as if you were following somebody down low. But, I mean, how are you going to make a pass, right, as we come to the checkered flag this time? Cody Higbee wins it. Had to do a little bit of work holding off Dominic Roselli early in this one. Matt DeRitter hangs on for 3rd, and Brian Berger is going to round out your points-paying positions in the 4th spot.
Berger and DeRitter put up a nice little battle there at the very end of that heat race, so we lined them up, and it's ready to go for the rest of the program tonight as we're going to let the guys come out. 5-minute warm-up session on the docket. Jamie Porter, the first one to hit the track, first one to try to get a little bit of time in, get some laps in. I'm curious to see what these guys are going to do, Jonathan, about working in the track a little bit more, because we were all glued to the bottom all the way through the heat races.
Yeah, I'm unsure right now what we're gonna see later on. Again, I am expecting at some point somebody's gonna try the middle to the high side. You can see Anthony Roselli trying to maybe work it in a little bit up there, see if he can get familiar with it. But I think if you're going to make passes, you're going to have to utilize that outside line. If everybody's just around the bottom, it's just going to be a freight train, right? And you're probably going to have to, if anything, use the chrome horn to execute your passes.
Ooh, good point. That might be something we see later tonight, Jonathan. I didn't really think about that yet.
A little short track action, maybe some short track tempers as we see Brian Berger get a little piece of Anthony Roselli there. I expect to see that style of incident maybe more than a few times, especially if everybody's fighting for the bottom.
I could see it. I could definitely see that. That would be exciting. That would make things interesting and a little bit different tonight from Kokomo. While we have a second, why don't we take a minute to shout out some of our sponsors and partners with this series. MDR Designs, longtime member of the program here. Been doing a lot of really great design work for BRPtv and for various other of their own clients. You can check out what MDR Designs does by reaching out to mdrdesigns.co@gmail.com for brand identity design, logo design, and more. Or you can go, if you want to go more on the racing side and you're looking at your racing experience as exampled here with some of the cars like Matt DeRitter's, Pat Reiser as well. You want to go on the racing side? That's Murder Graphics. So that's MRDR, Murder Graphics, making your events stand out with premium event logos. Also going with social media marketing and graphic design like you see here. You can send a message on Facebook or email at mrdrgraphics@gmail.com to see more about that whole gig that Matt DeRitter puts on, and he does phenomenal work with it. We got to shout out the Southern Ontario Dirt Show. Our buddy Jonathan here hosting alongside Travis Cunningham. He just mentioned earlier they're keeping up with what's going on in Florida, and not too long before they get to keep up with their own Southern Ontario weekly racing scene and talk to some of the local legends in their area. Available anywhere that, well, so we're getting a little contact here between the murder cars, getting all sorts of information. It's available on Spotify. It's available on Apple Podcasts. It's pretty much available everywhere. And you can go check in with the very handsome Jonathan Howe and see what's going on in their racing scene week by week. We want to shout out Creative Turnings. They're offering wood and acrylic household items such as pens, bowls, candlesticks, charcuterie boards, and more. Custom homemade products that are great for gift giving. Head over to their Facebook page to learn more. Dig Race Products, a partner of this series for a couple of years now, has been an industry leader in dirt-modified shocks and suspension tuning for a long time. Located in central New York, they're an industry leader at track shock and setup support. You can go check out digraceproducts.com to learn more about what they're doing over there and see some of the results of their program. 47 Technology, a homegrown 3D printing operation making your visions turn into reality one layer at a time. Go check out that Etsy page and reach out to take on your own custom 3D projects and take them to the next level. And, of course, us here at BRPtv bringing you live coverage of the BRP iRacing series. We are proud to provide this coverage to all of our partners, drivers, and fans. Be sure to keep up and subscribe to the channel. On YouTube, hit the bell icon to enable notifications so you know when we go live. Keep up with us on Facebook as well. You are watching the BRP iRacing series, the BRP Smackdown from Kokomo Speedway in iRacing. Tonight, Jonathan Howe alongside of me, Corby Daniels backwards in turn 4. It's going to be a doozy, 75 laps of action to bring it to you, and only 30 more seconds to wait for it, Jonathan.
Yeah, I keep watching these practice times, watching the guys try some different lines out there, and I don't know. I keep seeing everybody go try the high side, but I don't know, Joe, because we didn't see anybody try it in the heat when there was actual racing action. So I'm really confused about what we're going to see tonight. Even Cody Higby's up there trying the top side right now.
Well, do you think it's going to be like a abort mission, go to the top kind of deal when you can't hit the bottom, or do you think people are going to purposefully go up there to try it?
I feel like if you're towards the back of the field, you may as well go up there and try to make it work. Even if you're maybe I don't want to say a favorite, but if you're somebody who feels like they've got a shot to maybe get up there on the podium, but you're further back track position-wise, why not get up there early and just see if you can make some time and make your way forward before, everybody else has to try and figure that out.
I would agree with that. I think, especially at the beginning of the race, you may as well give it a shot. Well, we're going to give it a shot here. We've got 12 drivers lined up, ready to go for the show tonight. And let's bring the starting lineup to you. will go from the pole in the number 18. They call him the Gas Man out of New York in the Performance Automotive Showtime Custom Wraps machine is Mr. Gavin Isley. To his outside, the number 97, the Iceless Handsome Devil Catering and Barbecue out of New York is Cody Higbee, the current championship leader. From third place in the number 45, he's representing Welland, Ontario in the Evergreen Thrift Store St. Catharines Marina machine for Beefy Sports. That's correct. The Pistol, Jamie Porter. Going from his outside in the number 80 machine is going to be the Van Sickle Electric 5L Enterprises Group, Dominic Roselli bringing it to him. Corby Daniels going to start from 5th in the Beefy Sports number 31. Matt DeRitter to his outside in the Murder Graphics number 03. They're already about to start racing, so it's Anthony Roselli and Brian Berger in row 4, Pat Reiser and Tyler Pachalski in row 5. Row 6 is Ryan Beagle from a very poor starting spot, and Dean Meitzler tagging the tail as the green flag's coming out, 75 laps to it. This race is probably going to go pretty quick, Jonathan, so we got to stay on top of things here in the booth.
Definitely things are going to be moving fast out there at Kokomo. I feel like Isley's probably going to get away with this first lap, but I'm glad to see a few guys trying the extreme outside. You can see Higbee up there as well as Dominic Roselli, Porter fighting down low. We'll see as this race progresses which line prevails. I think really the middle might be where you want to be. Try to ride the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I saw Dominic do that in turns 3 and 4, and I liked what he did there as well. It looked like he gained on Higbee as well as Porter, who are the two guys he's kind of got to keep an eye on right now. And he's gaining on Higbee again, but he hits the wall a little bit. Hey, you could give it a little bit of love up top. Hey, a little bit of wall riding never hurt anybody, right, Jonathan?
Yeah, it's a little, it's the Kokomo stripe. We might see that develop here tonight if everybody's going to migrate to the top at some point. But everybody chasing the catfish down low. Gavin Isley, good run there into 3 and 4 from the 97 of Cody Higbee. We'll see if he can stay alongside. He will. Wasn't able to grab the lead on that lap, but it's awfully tight at the front of this field.
Oh, man, he's close. It looks like this is going to go back to the 97 car. And it's what we said before, Jonathan. If you go up top, you just kind of try it out. Things might work out for you, and it looks like they're working out for Cody Higbee right now as he's definitely pulling closer and closer to Gavin Isley. I think it's only a matter of time before the 97 leads a lap. Oh,
I believe he led that last lap, and there definitely was Cody Higbee out front on that one as well. Gavin Isley, I just don't think is getting the drive off. He still gets into the corner really well, but so are the guys on the outside. As now you see Dominic Roselli coming into the picture. He's making it work on the outside, and he is starting to close things up between these top two. And I guess if Isley is going to make the bottom side work, I almost feel like you kind of need to let these top two go and then maybe get back in your rhythm, because I just wonder if racing alongside Higbee is making him maybe overdrive on exit, and that's costing him some time.
Oh, man. Dominic Roselli is just, he's so close to the wall. He actually is hitting the wall. I think he's doing it on purpose. He tags the wall right at the sign where it says Kokomo, and then he tags it on the backstretch too there. Now, I thought that was a mistake the last time around, but he's done it twice in a row. He is using the outside to his advantage right now. He's not quite staying in touch with Cody Higbee, but he's definitely putting a run together to get in second place a little more secure. We missed something at the beginning of this race. Anthony Roselli is within sight of being a lapped car already. He definitely must have gotten something a little bit backwards off the start.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to this 7 car, but you can kind of see him struggling, and he didn't really have a great heat race either. So he was already towards the back of the field track position-wise. And now he's really going to be in danger of maybe going a lap down the way things are going right now. Cody Higbee clicking off lap time up top. And if Cody Higbee's running the top side, I almost wonder if he's going to drag the whole field with him, and maybe that allows the bottom side to be more effective later on. I mean, I just saw Dominic Roselli. He jumped down to the bottom side in 1 and 2, and it looks like he actually gave up some time to Gavin Isley since getting past Gavin Isley. Whoa, that gets tight off of 4.
Gavin Isley and Dominic Roselli switched lines for a second there. They kind of go back to where they were before, but now that battle has subsided, and Roselli pretty much has the 18's number cleared. Jamie Porter going to maybe see if he can move in next, try to figure out a way around the Performance Automotive machine. Cody Higbee leading the way, about a 1.5 gap between himself and the 80 car. And right now, it's just that Cody Higbee show we've been seeing every week, Jonathan. It's a little more of the same, but I don't know if that 7 car is going to have anything to do with it by the end.
Well, you know, we said it's a little bit more of the same, Joe, but I kind of feel like Cody Higbee's been a little bit, I don't want to say off the pace, but he hasn't really been the dominant car in any race really since the new year. Maybe a couple weeks after the new year break, but I would say that this is maybe, yes, a return to early season form, but this is not the norm. The 97 Iceless machine has needed a run like this to really kind of reestablish himself as the main championship contender and threat. I mean, he's done a great job maintaining that top points position, but he hasn't really ran away with it. He's actually left maybe the door open a little bit on some of the last few weeks.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair statement, although I don't think Beagle's really capitalized as much as he should have and could have if he wanted to put a real good fight in for the championship. And Dominic Roselli's been, oh man, here we go. This might get interesting. We're riding on board with the race leader. These two cars in front are lapped cars, but they're fighting for 11th place, Dean Meitzler and Anthony Roselli. And Higby's got to be wondering about where the 80 car is and make sure he can stay in front of Dominic. Let's see where we're at. Where is that number 80 car? Right to his outside.
Yeah, it's funny too, Joe. When Higby dove to that inside, you could see or hear it on the onboard, just how much he's got to lift and how much the cars are slowing themselves down just to make the corner on the bottom side of the racetrack. So while Higby's going to try to make some lap time down low, I really think this actually makes him a little bit vulnerable to Dominic Roselli, who's going to use that outside line. He has no reason not to, as the lap traffic is still fighting hard on the outside to stay on the lead lap ahead of our leader.
He is trying so desperately to get past them right now, putting the inside tires in the grass. And it's usually how it goes in dirt. Whoa, look out. Anthony Roselli got me nervous there. This is usually how it goes in dirt racing, though. The leader is always the one who gets caught out by the lap traffic, because the second place guy usually gets a little more aggressive. They see what happens with the leader. They learn a little bit more from the leader. And we have a yellow flag to pause this whole situation. And unfortunately, it is Jamie Porter, who had a really solid run going from 4th place, who brings it to us.
Yeah, I think I don't know what he's got going on necessarily, but he's got some heavy damage to the right side of that vehicle. I'm sure he's going to come in for maybe a reset here. We'll see what happens to this 45. Here he is on the backstretch. Looks like is that Tyler Pachalski behind him.
Is Pachalski running in? Was he running all the way up there? Good for Tyler. I didn't even notice him slip up that far.
Here they are side by side. Tyler's almost clear. Was not clear. They get hooked together. And it's Porter who actually gets the worst of it.
Does he get hit here by Beefer? No. Little bit.
Little tag from Beefer there.
Oh, but, man.
Mostly a lot of front end damage from that head-on impact into the wall there. And there's the leaders going by as well. We were watching that shot. Tough to say. I think it was just kind of one of them racing deals, because it sure looked like Tyler was going to do enough to clear Porter. Maybe if Porter maybe left him a little bit of room, that could have worked out. But tight racing there between those two as we go back to green, Joe.
Man, that was a chaotic restart right there. Higby decided to go to the outside line, and Isley was all over the place. Roselli's trying to stay there. Man, they're close now. Ryan Beagle has worked his way up to 4th place. Holy cow. Look at the Auckland Insurance car go. He's getting up in there. Gavin Isley's been a good competitor in this fight. Dominic Roselli just kind of riding. I wonder if he's waiting a little bit or if he's just pushing as hard as he can to stay even with Cody Higby right now. You got to capitalize when you get an opportunity like this, Jonathan.
Yeah, he's within striking distance, and I think he's getting a really good drive through the center of these corners. I think that's where he's making up some time. He gives up a little bit on exit to Cody Higby, our leader, but that just might be the fact that he's got that rabbit to chase out front. It's easier to attack into the corner and through the middle, I find, than it is to try to drive off with speed to launch an attack. So you can see, once again, Roselli closes up, does a little wall tap there, just a little bit of love tap to the outside wall in 1 and 2. He'll close in again in 3 and 4, but down that run, that little run off the hill, that's where Cody Higby really gets things going, as I think we've got a caution on the racetrack.
Yes, we do. We have another yellow flag coming out, and I think it's going to be... I actually don't even know who it's going to be. Is it the lapped cars again? Let's check it out.
Is that that, or it might be Porter again? I know he's towards the back here.
Yep, you're right. You're right, Jonathan.
So he's getting followed by Beef here. He's looking a little sideways. I think he's going to have to jump out to avoid Berger, maybe. And there's one of those net code errors where it doesn't look like they're touching, but they're just close enough. And Beef turns the 45 around.
No.
Oh, and then Dean Meitzler's got nowhere to go. He just piles in there.
Dang. That's tough for Dean as well. Jamie Porter's night went from...
It was a pretty solid night overall, I thought, but yeah, it's now a pretty big struggle for that 45 machine.
All right. Sorry about that. That's just the great. It's just right when things are going well, technology decides it's time to stop going well. A little bit of a mic issue there on my end. Apologies, everybody. We're back to it. Back to green flag racing again. Cody Higbee leads us back again. They're getting all squirrely back here. I'm watching Brian Berger get into a mess with Pat Reiser and Dean Meitzler. Look out.
Yeah, they're fanning out on these restarts real wide. You don't think of Kokomo as being a super wide racetrack. You're seeing, oh no, Matt DeRitter and Anthony Roselli come together. They're in trouble.
Whoa, look out. Wow. And we had a really good run of green flag laps to start this race. And I was going to ask you, Jonathan, about like how you felt. Would we see cautions at any point? How are we feeling about that? We've just gotten a bunch of them all back-to-back now.
Yeah, a string of yellows here as we were watching the replay with Matt DeRitter. Looks like he's got a great run, but has to jump on the binders to avoid contact with Ryan Beagle. And then Anthony Roselli just nowhere to go. He's going to catch the 0-3, and they all get looped around here. Brian Berger gets a piece of it. Dean Meitzler gets a piece of it. But, yeah, you know what? I think this is... I think this style of racing, with now the top side being the dominant lane, I think this is going to actually probably happen. I don't want to jinx it and say we're going to see more yellows like that, but it just is bound to happen if everybody's fighting for the same lane, and you really can carry a lot of speed into the corner, but then you got to rotate. It just gets ugly real quick.
It does.
We're back to green here.
Whoa, the restart was a little ugly back here. Pat Reiser had to go to the grass. He gets it back underway. Anthony Roselli not having a stellar run of things yet. We'll see if he can rebound with the last 30 laps of this race. And there was a little bit more contact right there between the 03 and the 60 car. Brian Berger's trying to make his run to the front. So is Ryan Beagle. And we've got to fight for the lead here even. Gavin Isley's making the bottom stick right now beside Cody Higbee. Maybe not.
Yeah, I can't quite keep it down there, though. On exit, you saw him drift off from, like, basically center off of 3 and 4. And that really cost Gavin Isley. Look at the move from Dominic Roselli. He dives to the middle. You can see the front end bouncing on that race car. Can't quite get the power down to stay alongside Higbee. He'll settle back into the high side.
This is a mess right here. This is awesome racing right here. Pat Reiser, Tyler Pachalski, Matt DeRitter, Anthony Roselli, and Corby Daniels. Oh, look out. Wow, the 33 really slowed it down on the bottom. And they're about 4 wide down the front stretch. Look at this. This is great. Look at them. There they go. Holy cow. And they're all going to get off the corner. And Beef's going to stick his nose in there, too.
Oh, muscles out of the way.
Oh, no. Pachalski.
Oh, it's Tyler Pachalski around, though.
Dang.
Tyler Pachalski was having such a great run in the 21P tonight, and now he finds himself all sorts of turned around with 25 to go.
25 laps left in it. Yellow flag comes back out. Let's check out the replay here on what happened to Mr. Pachalski. I think we're going to see... I mean, we kind of already saw it brewing, but we'll just check in and see what happens. Here's another shot of that 4 wide that I was getting excited about, Jonathan. That was really cool.
Great to see, and I mean, this was kind of bound for disaster, though. I think 4 wide, they all dive into the corner, and I thought it was going to be Roselli and Reiser down low that might lead to a caution, but instead it's actually Beef who's going to drive in and turn his buddy Tyler Pachalski around.
A little love and hurt in just a little shove. That's just short track racing, Jonathan.
Just a short track deal.
It's just short track racing. Yeah, Pachalski's had a couple times where he was the spinner, and it's just a night of get spin or get spun, and you're going to get spun, but you might spin someone. And I have to go to tag the tail for the 21P, get back into the show here. That's all good. We got plenty of time left for more to happen. Green flag's back out. Cody Higbee leads us in.
Good run on the bottom side there from Gavin Isley. He nosed ahead into the top spot ever so slightly, but Higbee around the outside's got the power down, and he will continue to maintain that advantage. Isley's doing the best he can to make the bottom side work, and you can see on the entry to the corner, he's able to kind of pull ahead, Joe, but just how much you have to rotate the car on the bottom side of the racetrack, it's keeping him from being able to clear up in front of Higbee.
Yeah, and I don't know if he'd even want to. Everybody's up on top right now, so the top's going to get worked in a little bit, except for that mess back there with Reiser and Beef and Berger. The question I have is, what does Roselli do? When does he make an aggressive move? Does he make an aggressive move? Does he bring out the bumper? What do you really do from here?
I think 1 and 2 is his spot. He just carries so much speed into 1 and 2. We've seen him do that little tap of the wall. I think if he taps the wall right, he can actually maybe drive down the hill a little bit and get a run on him. Watch him close up there. That was a little bit more contact than he wanted, I think, with the outside wall, and that actually cost him more than a few car lengths, I would say, to Higbee, as now Higbee is driving off, getting further away. But you can see he's definitely better, especially in the entry to 1 and 2. That's where he's closing up, making all his time. So he's got to find a way to use that momentum and get to the inside of Cody Higbee and maybe set something up using the middle groove through 3 and 4.
That might be the way to go. You're right. I don't know how much longer you'd wait on it. I mean, I wouldn't make the move right now, but we're very quickly going to be inside of 10 laps to go. This racetrack, we are running lap times that are 13 seconds. I mean, it's 13-second flat lap times. We've got a minute before we're inside 10 laps to go, so it might be go time sooner than you think for the Van Sickle electric machine in second place. Gavin Isley still kind of staying there. He's not hitting those inside tires, which we saw Matt DeRitter do in the heat race. Not something you want to be doing. At least Gavin Isley is not doing that, but I don't know if the bottom's going to come back for him by the end of this race.
Roselli tried to make the middle of 3 and 4 work that last time by, and this time thinks better of it because he did end up losing a little bit of time to Cody Higbee. I think with 10 laps to go here, Joe, if you're Roselli, I think you got to ride as tight as you can around the outside. Just keep it clean, keep it consistent, stay off the wall, close in to maybe within a car length, and I think that's where you can maybe strike. But I think the move's got to happen in 1 and 2. He's just not good enough to make it work in 3 and 4, even though he's tried it a couple times, as he's once again closes in within a car length, Joe.
He's there. The question is, will he get a chance to make a pass? He's going to look this time. Here we go. Slide job for the lead. Not enough yellow flag.
We got caution, yeah.
Yep, we got Dean Meitzler backwards. That is another incident for the 49 machine tonight. Not a good night for him. He said before the race, this is not a racetrack he enjoys a lot. So just when you get a driver at a racetrack they don't really enjoy that much, it never really, you can't say it ever really has a good outlook for him. So we'll catch a replay back, but this one should be fairly tame for Dean Meitzler.
So here he is going into 3 and 4. Nobody's really around him. Maybe he's going to get a run on Reiser and have to jump on the binders. Yep, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yep, and
Reiser just struggled getting off, and Meitzler was ready to carry speed through that through the middle of that corner.
That's one of those.
One thing I wanted to say. Sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that's one of those things we see a lot here in BRPtv.
One thing I was going to say is that just before that caution, like that is about as terrible of timing as you can have for Dominic Roselli, I would say. Ooh, as Cody Higbee chose the inside. I did not see that coming on this restart, and that might cost him. I don't know what he was thinking there as he's going to clear up.
Here you go.
Look at the run Roselli's going to go.
Nope, he couldn't quite.
And Gavin Isley's clear to the point.
Oh, and he slides up. He slid up in front of Dominic Roselli, and I thought you were right there for a second, but Gavin Isley kind of screwed Roselli's run up, but Roselli didn't get the power down. Here comes Isley to the top. Block it off. Nope.
Crossover.
Nope, crossover.
Oh, he put it in the wall.
Nope. And Higbee did the same. Look who's here. Look who's here.
Roselli?
Look who's here.
Where did he come from?
Wow. All right, 2 to go at the stripe. What's going to happen from here?
I'm not sure. Dominic Roselli, that caution was just poorly timed for him because he showed his hand. he figured out the way to get by Higbee, and then Higbee was able to defend it. I think that's why he elected to take that inside line for this restart. It almost cost him, though, as Gavin Isley made it interesting. Roselli, that's Dominic Roselli in the 80, making a bold move right to the... Oh, look at the outside. Here comes... Oh, my gosh. I can't believe they're fanning out this way, Joe. Who's going to be at the line?
Barely.
Wow.
But it was Higbee. Cody held on. Gavin tried... But you know what? Higbee really snookered that turn 3 entrance. That was probably the race-winning move.
That was huge for Cody Higbee, and Gavin Isley did all he could. And I think Dominic Roselli was probably the fastest of the bunch, but he didn't even end up on the podium because his brother, Anthony Roselli, sneaks up there and steals a spot amongst the top 3.
Yes, he did. We'll have to see what's going to come of that situation. As Anthony Roselli snuck in, Cody Higbee, Gavin Isley, they did not sneak in. They were up there the whole night, and Cody Higbee puts on another fantastic performance to win himself. Well, what is this? I got to count them up now. I've lost track. We've gotten so many wins for this 97 car this season. That is, 5? Yeah, that's number 5 for the season. That's pretty awesome stuff, pretty incredible from Cody Higbee. We'll give you guys a quick second, Jonathan, to jump out of the cars and get in here for these post-race interviews.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that finish. There were so many storylines and things I was trying to track in just that short amount of time, but things happen fast here at Kokomo.
They sure do. Well, Jonathan, we're going to quickly, because everything's fast at Kokomo tonight, why don't we bring him in? Let's talk to our winner tonight, and that is Cody Higbee. Cody Higbee, driver of the number 97. You got a copy, brother?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, there he is. Well, Cody, you had another one of those dominant nights where you were very strong, but especially at the end of it, you didn't have a gap to rely on. You had to rely on the raw power and skill to get to the finish first.
Yeah, that was a really technical racetrack, and I hate to admit it, but I was using my mirror quite a bit to see where guys were running behind me, and I knew I just didn't have to mess up and I would be all right, but those restarts were really making it tricky, and Dami and Gavin started running the slider line, so I kind of had to mimic them and just not really block, kind of just make sure I was, keeping my momentum ahead of them and just making sure they didn't get any runs on me. And, if they get a good run, they can go and slide me, and I'm pretty much useless because I'll be spinning up top.
Well, tell us about that last restart where you picked the bottom. That was different, and I know Jonathan was really kind of surprised about seeing that happen.
Yeah, I picked the top the first couple restarts, and the last time I picked the top, Dami got a really good start underneath me. So I said, there must just be more brown under there, and he was firing off really good. So I started picking the bottom, and it was working better, but I still feel like those guys behind me were better. I don't know if it's just Kokomo or what. I don't really have a lot of laps here, but it's a really wide racetrack and it's really tight racing. It's pretty crazy. You got to be like an inch from the wall and just make speed up there.
Yeah, this racetrack really isn't built for modifieds. It's built for midgets, which is much smaller and much lighter. But you got to figure out a way around this racetrack, and for how technical it was, Cody, even having those guys breathing down your neck, you were able to stay on top of the car. What was the big difference maker in staying on top of your machine and being able to build those gaps that inevitably went away during the yellows?
Yeah, it was all about just not making mistakes and just, building speed up top. And, Gavin was like running the bottom the whole race, and he was good down there. He was pretty much to my quarter panel, I feel like, every lap. So, it seems like the bottom was like a mile from the top, but, there's just enough banking where you can kind of keep momentum and just keep that speed up top. And, you got to start cutting off the top. I started doing that early, and just keeping the rear tires in the brown is the biggest thing. Once you get your rear tires in the slick, it's really hard to make speed.
Definitely is. But you were able to make that speed work, and you were able to bring it home. First place tonight. Who do you want to shout out and thank for everything going into the Iceless 97?
Yeah, for sure. I want to thank you guys, as always. Everybody watching. I have a lot of people that watch this and really enjoy the broadcast, so thank you guys for that. And, I look forward to racing every week. And, congrats to Gavin and Anthony. He came back from a early. I put him down a lap, I think, early on, and he came back to finish third. So that's pretty cool. And shout out to Dami. We raced pretty well, pretty much the whole race together. And I just kind of did what I had to do. I feel like I did what anybody else would have did, and overall we ended up with the win. So that's pretty cool. Like I said before, I don't have a lot of laps here, so I really didn't know what to expect. And so I just kind of ran it how I run every other track, and it worked.
Well, that's what we like to hear. It worked out. Number 5 for the season. Good stuff from you. Congratulations from us, Cody.
Thank you, guys.
And that is your race winner, Cody Higbee, from the top step of the podium. And we'll have to see if we can grab second place. He is not at the stand for the interview here, so maybe we'll give him a quick second, see if we can drop him in. Maybe in the meantime, Jonathan, I'll hand you the third place driver if you want to talk to Anthony Roselli quick.
Yeah, sure thing.
Well, let's do it.
Anthony Roselli, it's Jonathan Howe up in the booth. You got a copy, my friend?
Yes, I do.
Congrats on the podium. And where did you come from? I swear, we almost, you kind of got a lap down earlier. You were at the back. And then all of a sudden, one final restart, and the 7 cars making hay.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of unfortunate misdo there at the end, or in the beginning there on the original start. Just got tangled, spun around, caution to come out, which is fine. No, we kept it going. But I'm gonna be honest, I was driving pretty ticked off there that whole race after that happened. So I was just trying to find any bit of grip or speed or traction and just try to dig my way up. I ended up getting entangled with Matt and then having to come from the back again. And then I just got lucky that I got such a good start on that last restart, and I just didn't realize that I found myself in third there with like 2 to go.
You got a great track position there at the end, and you kind of looked like you were able to make the bottom side and the top side work throughout the race. What did you feel from the driver's seat? Where was the dominant line here around Kokomo?
Really, I think it was more or less driving style. It was going to be determined that. So I was banging the boards on the top and really making that work. That's when I caught the field there when Cody put me a lap down. But then if you can run the bottom really well, like I think Gavin ran maybe a couple laps on the top, and the rest of the time he was on the bottom, right even with Cody and I there at the end. So I really think there really wasn't one dominant lane in that race, just from how it raced and where I was able to just be able to pass cars.
Yeah, it definitely seemed to move around, and multiple guys could make multiple different groups work. Who do you got to thank for getting on the podium here? And in what was a battle, and talk about never giving up.
Oh yeah, man! I gotta thank you guys, Beef and Matt, for always putting this on and doing such a great job. Fancycle Electric, Mobile Metals, Hollywood Towing and Auto, 5L Enterprises, Snyder's Construction, Murder Graphics, Accurate Collision, Loris Carbs. I thank my fiance Kate, my parents for letting me watch, and everyone else that watches.
Congrats on the podium, a hard-fought one at that. Anthony Roselli brings it home third.
He had a phenomenal recovery tonight in that number 7 machine. So good stuff from Anthony to round out the podium. And I don't think we're going to get the driver of the number 18 car from second place. He must have just wanted to go crack a beer with his guys and head out of the track for the night. The final results showing on your screen here. Cody Higbee, your winner over Gavin Isley and Anthony Roselli. We talked 2 of the 3. Dominic Roselli was up in the podium spots most of the way through tonight. Unfortunately, the last lap, he was not. Ryan Beagle rounds out the top 5, not really putting together the nights he needs to stay in championship form. Matt DeRitter behind him in 6th place. A little bit of a up and down for him, but a lot of great action on track for the 03 car tonight. Brian Berger for 7th place. Pat Reiser 8th. Corby Daniels holds on to 9th. I believe, let me double check. I believe that is the first top 10 for him this season. And it is. Jamie Porter for 10th place there behind him. And then you've got Tyler Pachalski 1 lap down and Dean Meitzler a couple laps down in 12th place. Only 12 drivers. And at the end of it, the same one on top as we were seeing at the beginning of the season when we had twice as many cars. Cody Higbee still in prime form, Jonathan.
Yep, Cody Higbee he just kicks butt, man. unless you get this guy having a mistake where he's going to start from the back or, for whatever reason just doesn't have track position and he's got to fight through the field, you get him out front early in a race, it's going to be tough to knock him off the spot. I really wanted to see Dominic Roselli at least have a shot there at the end. I'm not sure how he was able to fall back or what exactly caused him to fall back the way he did, but I think Roselli might have been able to get him if it ran green, but either way, I got to give a hand to Cody Higbee.
Absolutely, got to give a hand to him. Phenomenal stuff from him, and he rounds out Kokomo with a dub. Gavin Isley, also a great race tonight. Dominic Roselli, great race, and Anthony Roselli definitely snuck it back in there. Well, that is the show from Kokomo Speedway. We hope all of you have enjoyed through Facebook and YouTube. Coming along with us on BRPtv, we enjoy bringing you the BRP iRacing series week in, week out, and I was very much excited to race at Kokomo. It was a great racetrack for me. A lot of great memories going there in the real world back when I was in college, and I love getting around this racetrack. Next week is Lernerville, so we go Western PA, 60 more laps there. That's set to be a doozy as well, and then we will start slowly ticking off towards the end of the season. But on behalf of Corby Daniels and Matt DeRitter running the BRP iRacing series, Jonathan Howell alongside of myself, all of our partners and sponsors of the series who keep things afloat for us, we hope you've all enjoyed Kokomo Raceway tonight, and we'll come back in 1 week's time for Lernerville. Remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon from YouTube to know when we go live, and stay on top of that Facebook page because we're coming to you hot. 1 more week to go for Sarver, Pennsylvania. But until then, be safe, drive safe, and we'll see you all in the next broadcast.